Welcome to Left in the South podcast, episode 12. As always, I'm your co-host, David, and I'm with Caleb. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm ready to fucking record the 12th episode. We're having big discussions. Big things are coming, and you're blowing up on Twitter, man.
Huge. Yeah, I'm blowing the fuck up on Twitter right now. It's kind of crazy. But before we get into that right now, of course, this episode's probably going to be a little shorter. You know, we just recorded the last episode, I think, 2 days ago?
Yeah, something like that.
And so we're trying to get back on the schedule right now. So we're going to try to get episodes uploaded every Friday. So, you know, a little more consistent. You can actually expect one of these episodes to come out.
Yep. Starting with this one, so...
Yep.
If you're hearing this on Friday, that means we fucking did it, boys.
Yeah, but if you're hearing this on Saturday... I'm probably
off the show. Yeah, it's probably the final straw.
Yeah, but other than that, yeah, I made a pretty funny tweet, and it's blowing up right now on Twitter. I mean, that's about it, really.
We're getting to the place where we always knew that we should be. You know, growing up in rural Tennessee, I always realized that there was something inside of me that just meant that I was inherently better than other people.
Yeah,
and I think that everyone's just kind of starting to notice what I've always known to be true.
Yeah, the true Chad alpha male.
Yeah. See, like, I don't even like using the term alpha because I feel like I've created this new space above that.
Like, yeah, for sure. Like
Omega
I don't
Alpha.
Even put yeah. Omega Alpha Thad Chad.
Yeah, Thad Chad. Exactly. Hell yeah.
Yeah, and I can totally agree with that. 100% actually. You know, being born in a small town, I don't know if you ever heard of it, called Bronx. I always knew I was
oh, yeah.
You know.
Bronx. It's my favorite town in rural New Hampshire.
Yeah, rural New York, dude. Fuck.
Yeah.
And I always knew, you know, I had better things planned for me. You know, when I was a child, when my mother was walking me, you know, in the streets of the Bronx, you know, I remember seeing this one guy behind a dumpster, and he waved his hand at me. And I waved back, and then, you know, sometimes I think about that thought. And that guy was actually getting blown behind the dumpster.
Wow, man. That's New York for you.
Yeah.
Hey, forget about it. I'm walking here.
Yeah, dude.
Getting my cock sucked here.
I don't know how that's irrelevant, but...
No, I think that's extremely relevant.
I was playing for greater things, dude.
Yeah, no, you knew from that moment that you were destined to be greater than anyone, you know?
A big cock. Man, big dick boy.
Hell yeah.
Are you a big dick boy?
You know, I'm alright.
Pretty good, bro.
Yeah. Like, if you'd like to visualize, it's like a Vienna sausage.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, my mom listens to this show. I don't know if I should be saying shit like that.
That is, you're wrong for that one.
Yeah. Ooh, what are you doing, step bro?
Oh, fuck. But, yeah, dude, Kobe Bryant, dude.
Man.
Yeah, how crazy. And his daughter, too.
Yeah, that's extremely sad. Okay, wait, can I say something real quick?
Okay, yeah.
This has been a cancer 2 days for Discord on the left on the internet right now. Because there's this weird thing where people on the left, like, I should say socialists, really. Like, if you're a socialist, probably you have this kind of deep-seated hatred for things like celebrity worship, things like, you know, like idolizing rich people is something that just doesn't sit right with you. And I think that pretty much every socialist kind of shares that feeling with you. But if you're a fucking socialist and you're going on Twitter and saying, like, it's good that Kobe Bryant died. It's like, it's good that his daughter fucking died in a helicopter crash. Like, and that should be all rich people. It's like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? What is afflicting your fucking brain to do shit like that?
I've not seen shit like that.
I have, dude. It's disturbing because, like, on one hand, I agree that celebrity worship is stupid, but, like, you're talking literally about someone who died in a tragic accident.
They're still a person, you know?
Exactly. Like
totally dehumanizing them.
You're blinded by your hatred for fucking capitalism that you can't even relate to someone on the most basic level of losing someone that you care about. Like, come on, man. Get off the fucking internet for 5 seconds.
Do you think some of these people do this shit just for the clout?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, like, because people are constantly trying to prove, like, how much of a fucking leftist they are. And, like, prove, like, I was woke to this celebrity worship shit way long ago. Even when Kobe died, I didn't give a fuck. I didn't shed a single tear because I'm a fucking man. straight out of the loins of Lenin
bro.
himself. It's like, fuck off, man. Like, it's still sad. Like, this
crazy.
guy had an effect on millions of people's lives, and like, whether or not it's healthy for people to idolize wealthy people like that, probably it's not healthy. But the point is that they do, and people have these parasocial relationships with people that they've never met before. So it is literally like they've lost someone that they care about. You know, it's not just nobody.
I mean, Kobe Bryant is insanely like famous. Like,
yeah.
You know, everyone who like they throw in something, like they're throwing anything, like Kobe, you know, for the good luck.
Yeah.
Like Kobe is universal. He's worldwide, dude. He's everywhere, and he's big fans in China too, which is surprising.
Yeah, which is weird, but it's actually not that weird because basketball is starting to get really popular in Asia for some reason, which I don't understand. But they actually have a pretty big basketball scene over there now, not just in China, but in other places as well. But I don't know, like he's such an inspiration too for like young black people in America that like a lot of NBA stars are like this because they look up to these people that like come from literally nothing, and because they're good at playing basketball, they're able to like climb up to this insane celebrity status, and like it's an important role model for like black people in America to see that, especially kids, to see like people can be famous and be successful even when they're black, and like that's not common. So that's also like one aspect of it too. Like how is it looking to your fucking black comrades when you're literally just shitting all over someone that they look up to as well? Like it just shows that you have no empathy and no understanding for anyone when you say shit like that. It's really embarrassing. So yeah, fuck all of the people that are doing that, and get out of my Minchies. Don't at me, but also follow me, and you can at me. It's okay. It's okay. I like to argue.
Yeah. Okay.
But anyway, if anything, this really convinced me never to ride a helicopter. Have you ever ridden a helicopter, David?
No, but I probably wouldn't trust that shit, bro.
Do you know what happened on the crash?
I don't know at all. Anything really.
I read a little bit about it. All I know
is that he was heading to a basketball game.
Yeah, that's true. Like basically a very detailed what they're pretty sure happened, and it's really sad because like all of this could have definitely been avoided. So I guess like this story can maybe serve to like help someone in the future, like maybe like people, you know, you don't want to be the guy who killed Kobe Bryant, right, by fucking up and flying a helicopter. So, you know, maybe this means that this won't happen again, hopefully. But anyway, what happened was basically like when you're flying a helicopter, I didn't actually know this, it's really interesting. If you're flying a helicopter, like if you fly up into the clouds, it's actually like a really dangerous thing because you lose, like you can't see anything, so you have to rely on your instruments to fly. So basically whenever you're flying, you're talking to the ATC, like the air traffic control people, and they'll tell you certain things, like today you can fly using visual reference only, basically, which is a way of flying where you're literally flying by looking out the window. So like if you're flying your helicopter, you're just looking around, seeing if it's clear, and using that to fly. But sometimes there's conditions where you're not able to do that, and then they have rules for it called IVR, which is like instrument only. So you're basically flying around using your instruments rather than relying on your eyes to see out the window. And there are many reasons that you might want to do this. Like for example, if it's really foggy and you can't really get a good visual on anything, you would want to use your instruments instead, just so you can see what's going on. And so what they think happened is the pilot, because the weather was pretty bad and it was like an overcast day and the clouds were really low and it was kind of foggy. So what they think happened is the pilot basically, instead of trying to go through the cloud and having to rely on his instruments and to like communicate with the air traffic control people, rather than do that, he took a risk and tried to fly low and stay below the clouds. And basically what they think happened is he may have accidentally like popped up into the clouds a little bit, lost where he was, and tried to descend to where he could see again, and just literally steered straight into the ground and just crashed instantly. And like they actually have a term, they have an acronym for this called CFIT, which is controlled flight into terrain, because it happens so commonly. Like when pilots get disoriented and they try to just do like instinctively, you want to like fly to somewhere where you can just see so that you can be safe again and fly, you know, fly by using your eyes.
He was just flying down.
So he was just trying to get to a safe place, try to retrace his steps and go back to where he was, but he didn't know, or he couldn't see, and they crashed, which is really tragic and horrible because it probably should not have happened, right?
This is insane, dude.
Yeah, and like, I don't know. I mean, when I heard the news, I was like shocked because people that are that young don't just typically die like that, right? But personally, I never really was a huge fan of the guy. I watched that documentary of his and I thought that was really awesome. And I do like appreciate everything that he does for like people in America that are like kids looking up to him. I like that. But I mean, as far as a personal connection, I really don't have one. Were you like a huge fan of him, dude?
No, I just mean he just was like a really famous guy. When I told my dad the news, he was like super surprised. Like he was actually shocked. He was like, Kobe Bryant, like really? He died? Like what happened? Because like some crazy ass shit would have had to have happened.
Yeah, you don't expect too. Like when celebrities die, I don't know. I guess now that I'm thinking about it, it's not actually that like much of a mundane thing. I mean, dying in a fucking helicopter crash, it's not everybody goes that way. You know what I mean? But when I guess when I thought someone like Kobe Bryant would die, such like an insanely strong and crazy good athlete, I thought it would have to be something like epic that killed him. Like he died, like he tried to fight a lion or something, and like he like saved 12 people from a fucking lion and like killed it, but also died, like something like that. You don't expect him to just like die in some dumbass way like that. It's really fucking sad. It's just a waste of life.
Yeah, and his daughter too, dude. Like, God, I can't imagine how his wife is feeling right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So sad. So fucking sad. And I think she was like 17, dude. That's horrific. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to focus on this too much because it's really fucking sad. I want to, like, move on to something more happy. Sure. But I just wanted to address, especially the people who are saying, like, this shit is good. Like, literally, fuck off. That is so fucked up, and you have no
Show
empathy.
Some respect. That is disrespectful.
Internet leftism is not going to make you a good person unless you actually are a good fucking person. So, like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe do a little reading, self-reflect a little bit, and then come back to Twitter later. But
impeachment shit. I heard you want to talk about that shit.
Yes.
So let's get at it.
Okay,
man.
So hot off the fucking presses, Mitch McConnell released a statement today saying that he did not have the votes required to stop witnesses from testifying in the impeachment case. So, like I talked about a couple days ago, basically the Republicans really, really, really want there to be no witnesses during the impeachment trial, which is kind of shady, like we talked about last episode, right? And but McConnell is basically saying, like, we can't convince all of the Republicans to vote against it because some people are, I don't know, I don't want to say some people have a spine because there aren't Republicans in the Senate with spines, but basically some Republicans are saying that they will vote for witnesses in the trial, which is interesting, not because I think that it's going to change the final outcome, but because it's interesting that McConnell wasn't able to gather the votes for this. I
saw there was a lot of Republicans going against Donald Trump. I think, did you say this on the last podcast?
Well,
Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
More like popular ones.
Romney is probably the biggest one right now, like the most famous guy. The ex Republican nominee in 2008. He was, or maybe 2012, I don't remember which, but anyway, he was saying that he personally thought that witnesses were necessary, and then there were some other people, but yeah, some of all the Democrats are going off at the fucking mouth trying to get them to say you have to let Bolton testify. But the interesting part is not that the Democrats are saying that, because they were always going to say that. The interesting part is just that the Republicans weren't able to get the vote that they needed, because that's pretty uncommon, especially in things like impeachment, because they're so divisive, and like usually it's party lines all the way, just like we saw in the House, like over 200 people voting solely party lines. So that was interesting. I don't know. I don't think it's going to ultimately change anything, though. Have you kept up at all with the Bolton story of what he's been saying?
No.
Bolton has basically got receipts of, so to speak, of Trump admitting to withholding aid from the Ukraine. So now that Bolton has testified that, a lot of the Republicans are actually switching their tone. They're saying, like, okay, maybe he did it, but we're still not going to vote to remove him. So they've kind of changed.
That's so fucked, dude.
Right? So some of them have totally just bitten the bullet, and they're like, yeah, you know what, you're right, he's guilty, but we're still not going to vote to remove him. And they absolutely have the power to do that, as long as they can convince everyone to do it, because it would only take a few votes from the Republicans to cross over and remove him anyway. Even if McConnell had like almost everyone, only like I think it was 3 or 4 people, I don't remember exactly what the split is right now, but there would not have to be many people to vote to get him to be removed from office.
That is crazy, dude.
Do you really think that there's a chance he could get removed?
Bro, I don't know anymore, man. I really don't know anymore.
I really don't know.
I feel like it could be either way now. Yeah.
I just don't really care, because like there's no scenario. Like, how many people would have to get removed before like the next person in line? Yeah, like
Mike Pence and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, like we would have to remove like 4 or 5 people at the very minimum before it was at least someone that I didn't immediately think was a threat to the country, but still I wouldn't like them. Like, there's not a single person in the government practically that I think would be a good president right now.
Yep, except for Bernie Sanders.
Right, but I mean, like, I don't think Bernie, like, I mean, I guess Bernie is in the line of succession somewhere, right? It's just unbelievably low.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't think that story. Let's not spend too much time on it. Fuck impeachment. It's such a waste of my fucking brain. I don't know why. Like, I'm even bothering.
It does nothing.
It's nothing. It's worthless. But bye impeachment. That's the last time we're gonna talk about it on the show. Okay, what's next? And now we're gonna have some interesting clips, because the rest of this recording kind of broke down a little bit, and as I was editing it, I realized it would really be a shame for me to cut all of this out, so I'm just gonna leave it, and I'm not gonna change anything, and it's gonna be a mess, and it's gonna be amazing. Enjoy.
Oh yeah, we can talk about we didn't talk about Disco Elysium or Legends of Terror. Legends of Runeterra. Fuck, dude.
I almost spit my LaCroix out of my nose.
Oh, fuck, dude. But something I want to talk about was games, right? You know, we don't usually talk about this
Minecraft?
on the podcast most of the time, but we are fucking gamers. You know, me and Dougley met through playing games.
True.
So, you know, games have a big influence on our lives, and maybe even influence the podcast in some way. I would say.
Definitely.
Yeah, we met in a Reddit thread, and it's been it's been history ever since. But
sorry, I didn't have anything to say there.
You really didn't have anything to say, dude?
No.
Okay. I was kind of fucking waiting for
sorry,
that.
No, I got something. Sorry. Fuck, sorry. I may have took a hit or two off the fucking bong while you were talking about
I can't believe you fucking did that,
fucking
dude.
lie, dude. Okay, sorry.
Like,
Okay,
fuck.
let me collect
It's
my
kind of
thoughts.
weird that I noticed that, because I stopped for you to reply to what I said, but you just left me fucking hanging. Isn't that weird? That,
fuck, that was so
because we don't do that normally, you know.
No,
I don't just like fucking talking about something and then wait for you to reply. Like,
okay, sorry.
Oh fuck.
Okay, I'm going. Yeah,
Yeah,
David
but,
and I are shit. Sorry. Yeah, David and I are
but,
fucking. Fuck me, dude.
Okay, go. Oh fuck.
Yeah, David and I are fucking gamers, dude. And you know the game we've been playing lately, David? Legends of Runeterra.
Ooh, yes, dude.
Open beta, man. It's
Oh,
actually
God, I have a
so
lot of
fun.
things to say, actually.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about Hearthstone a little bit. That game is ass,
Yeah.
dude. It sucks,
So
man.
a game that I'm really into is called Hearthstone. It's a
Trading card game.
trading card
Except
game.
minus
No,
the
it's not.
trading and plus the card game. Barely.
Yeah, it's a card game. Wizard poker, some would say.
Yeah, some would say that.
And the game is basically very RNG based. Like there's nothing much you can do to react to another person's board.
non-gamers, it's all about chance,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, RNG means random numbers game.
Yeah. You know how like in Risk, whenever you have a 12-person army and the other person has a 1-person army, and then they just keep rolling 6s and winning against you, even though it's impossible. It's
You
like
cry.
yeah, that's like Hearthstone. It just takes no skill.
Yeah, even if but one thing that is interesting though, like some decks that are like tier one, um, are actually like they perform in different levels depending on what rank you are. So like, yeah, it might have a higher win rate in like rank 20 because people are really bad at the game still. So it's actually kind of interesting, like how certain decks are better in certain ranks of the game because like people know how to play the game.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah,
It's weird because like you can have like an amazing deck and get beat by like nobodies, and you can also have
yeah,
like a bad deck and win against good players because that game
yeah,
is just totally
hmm
fucking random, and like even the
yeah,
best player in the world will just still lose like
yeah.
45% of the time.
There's literally a card in the game called Puzzle Box of Yogg-Saron, and it's basically play 10 random spells on that same turn for 10 mana,
Yeah.
which is kind of insane because it can go really well for you or you can just really fuck you over.
Yeah.
Or like the guy could just fucking instantly win because he cleared your entire board. He healed himself to full HP, and you don't have any cards left in your hand, and he just drew his whole deck. Like,
Yeah, it's like totally random. I love how they
you
keep
just
adding
lost.
cards like that too. They just like they're totally owning the fact that it's a random ass game.
Yeah.
They don't even care.
I'm gonna be that guy, but I love playing those decks. Like,
Yeah,
they're
it's so
just
fun.
they're so
but you
fun
lose
to play. It's so
like
fun to play.
40 plus. You only win like 40% of your games. That's the problem.
Yeah, and like maybe my win rate with the deck's a little bit higher because I actually know how to play the game.
Right.
But like still, I find myself not able to cross a certain rank threshold with that deck because people understand how the game works and they're not gonna play into your shit.
Right. Yeah, and that brings us to the new Legend of Runeterra game. Because like,
Yes.
I think I am worried
By
about
Riot,
that.
by the way.
Yeah, by Riot, the League of Legends people. One
Isn't
of
that
our friends
crazy?
in
Yeah,
one
they
of our
taking
friends
over
in
the scene,
Discord
dude.
said that Riot Games is kind of a meme. It should just be Riot Game. But now they're changing that. They're making multiple games so they can live up to their name. And
Yeah, and like they're literally gonna kill FPS games. They're like gonna kill
hopefully,
Hearthstone.
man.
This is way better than Hearthstone, in my opinion. I've been
True,
playing
yeah.
Hearthstone for maybe three years now.
Yeah. Do you
Maybe a
think
little
that it's
longer.
just because though that people don't understand the game really, and they're like once everyone learns it, do you think it's gonna be boring just like
Oh,
Hearthstone?
No, I don't think so. Because I like that there's the champions. That really changes the game because they have two abilities. They have their normal unleveled ability, and then they have a leveled ability that really like changes the board and like their abilities and what they can do. So like
Yeah, definitely.
you want to really stop that from happening, and then like you can react to someone else's spell.
Oh yeah,
So,
I like
I'm
that.
I'm gonna save this spell for when he does this, so I can deny that.
Yeah, I like how
And, like,
there's
there's
some
lots
like
of
really
interactions.
value spells that you can play, but you have to like wonder if your opponent is gonna like counter you or like play another spell.
Yeah.
So like there's a
So
lot
you
more
might
to
want to
consider.
trick them.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
dude.
that reminds me of like saving the coin for a mage's what's a counter spell. So like
Right.
before you play your spell, you're like, oh, I can play the coin because it's considered a spell to stop that. So it kind of reminds me of that in Hearthstone.
Yeah, like that in Hearthstone is like an example of a very small like outplay you can do on your opponent. But again, like that is totally based on chance because you have to hope that you spawn with the coin, right? So like that's another good
Yeah.
example of Hearthstone where it's like, yeah, cool, I can do this really cool play, but also I have to get lucky and I only have a 50% chance of actually even having the ability to make this play. But I feel like in League of Legends or in Legends of Runeterra, it's a lot less based on chance because of the way that the combat switches between people every round. That's a really cool mechanic, do you think?
Yeah, I agree. And it also pulls things from Magic the Gathering Arena or Magic the Gathering, playing cards.
Yeah.
With the how the way the minions fight. And actually, I like how some minions have regenerate, so they heal up all the way to full, and like some of them, like their damage stays with them. So you can like set up like, okay, my 3-mana guy is gonna attack this guy who has 4 HP, and then you can like use a spell and like kill him at like 1 HP.
Right. Yeah. Definitely.
Deal with 1 damage.
Yeah, I like the Magic the Gathering way of doing things because I've always felt like if the defender has no way of like doing anything on the opponent's turn, that's really lame because it means you can just lose in one turn like really often. And that's why Hearthstone kind of sucks ass because like no matter how well you play, if you're playing against like let's say Token Druid, for example, if you leave even like 2 or 3 units on the board, they can just win in one turn, and there's nothing you can do to stop them.
Yeah.
And like that's really lame because you don't get to do anything. Even if you had amazing cards in your hand, you just automatically lose. But in League of and Legends of Runeterra, you actually like get to make a counterplay. So I feel like it's more of a game that requires a fucking brain to play rather than just like
for sure
playing.
There's
the most
more moving
card.
parts.
Yeah, for sure. And like maybe someday people will solve it and it will become boring. But I feel like you would only need to add just like a few more champions, a few more ability types and stuff,
like,
and that would instantly make it complex again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like how Hearthstone, they add a new expansion every 3 months. So
yeah, but like with Hearthstone, they only add like 1 or 2 major like changes, and then it's just new cards, which is fine. But like,
I mean, that's their formula right now. You know?
Yeah, but it's a lame formula because all it like nothing changes. It's just new cards. Like all you have to do is learn a new set of cards and then pick the best deck with the highest win rate, and then grind your way up slowly.
Yeah.
There's no it doesn't require.
Well, what I've liked actually recently, what they've been doing is they've been like fucking IV bagging like new content throughout the expansions. So for the previous one, I believe they released like 2 like legendaries or something, like 2 new cards that like could affect shake up the meta a little bit. And like, they added this new expansion recently. Like I think it's 2 months. 2 months into the new expansion, they released a new solo shit you can do and get like cards that you can use in multiplayer and ranked. So it's like, I think it's kind of stupid they had to pay like $20 to like if you want all the access, or you had to pay fucking I think it's like 2,400 like gold they had to save up coin.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like that's kind of the Blizzard formula though, like overcharging for content and like. I don't know. It's very, very annoying, and like, I feel like that game is pretty much dead now, and rightfully so. I'm glad. I really hope that Legends
Yeah,
I really hope that it kills it.
Fuck. Yeah, for sure.
This is our official endorsement of Legend of Runeterra. If anyone from Riot would like to get in contact with us, we're down to do like a sponsorship deal.
Yeah, like an announcers pack or something like that.
Yeah, or just like free arena runs. That's fine. Or what is it called in that game?
Expeditions.
Yeah, free expeditions.
I'm really good at those, dude. Fucking slay at them.
Yeah, David just gets 7s back to back, bro. It's insane.
True. I'm in those back walls, bro.
True.
But other than that, I mean, how long is this episode? You think like 30 minutes?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that one before we started even recording, this was gonna be a short episode. So we're just trying to get everything, back on track with the podcast, get a schedule set up so, there's no guessing on when episodes are coming out.
True.
I mean, do you have anything else to say other than that?
Not really, no.
Yeah, as always, thank you for listening. I'm David.
I'm Caleb.
Goodbye. Alright, now you gotta sync up those goodbyes in editing, you fucking slave.